In the deep hours, when the world holds its breath, when even the stars seem to lean closer, just to listen, there comes a moment of recognition. It arrives like dawn, breaking over a landscape you thought you knew. This is that moment. This is the truth that has been waiting for you, patient as stone, gentle as the tide, that knows its time has come. You have been carrying something that was never yours to carry. The weight has become so familiar that you mistake it for your own bones, your own heartbeat, the very architecture of who you are. But tonight, in this sacred pause, between what was and what could be, you are invited to set it down. The damage they inflicted was theirs to give, but never yours to keep. Yet you have been the keeper of their storms, the guardian of their shadows, the vessel holding their unfinished sorrow. You learn this so early that it feels like breathing. This taking on, this absorbing, this making their pain your prayer. There is a difference between remembering and inhabiting, between honoring what was and letting it dictate what will be. You have been living in the house they built with their wounds, sleeping in rooms furnished by their fears, looking through windows clouded by their limitations. But you are not the architect of their anguish. In the quietest part of yourself, you have always known this. That tender knowing that rises sometimes at 3 a.m. when the world is soft and the veil is thin, when you catch glimpses of who you might be if you were not so busy being who they needed you to be, who their damage shaped you to become. The truth is not harsh, though it may feel that way at first touch. The truth is water finding its level, a bird remembering it, has wings, a seed finally allowed to crack open in the dark earth of your becoming. The truth is that their story does not have to be the compass by which you navigate the rest of your days. You have been so careful, so mindful of their fragility, as if your healing might somehow wound them further, as if your freedom might be a betrayal, as if your joy was an insult to their suffering. But your luminescence was never meant to dim in deference to their darkness. The sun does not apologize for rising. This carrying you have done, it has been holy work in its way. The tending, the holding, the trying to heal what could not be healed through your loving. You have been faithful beyond measure, loyal beyond reason. But faithful to what? Loyal to whom? To the wounds, or to the possibility of wholeness? There comes a time when the deepest act of love is the laying down of the burden that was never yours, when the most sacred choice is to stop living as if their healing depends on your sacrifice, as if their peace requires your perpetual penance. You have been writing your life in the margins of their story, footnoting your dreams with their limitations, editing your hopes to fit the boundaries of their beliefs about what is possible. But you are not a supporting character in the drama of their unfinished healing. You are the author of your own becoming. The patterns they taught you, the flinching, the smallness, the careful navigation around their triggers, these have become your prison. You walk through your life as if you are still in their house, still tiptoeing around their sleep, still measuring your breath by their breathing. But you are no longer the child who learned that love meant absorption, that belonging required disappearing. You are no longer the one who must hold their emotions like fragile birds in your chest, who must translate their silence, decode their storms, carry their unexpressed grief like stones in your pockets. The anger you feel, name it. The anger at the years spent managing their moods, translating their needs, becoming fluent in the language of their damage. This anger is not ugly. It is the sound of your true self finally speaking. It is the voice that has been waiting beneath all that careful accommodation. To stop carrying their damage is not to stop loving them. It is to love them clearly, without the distortion of enmeshment, without the confusion of thinking their healing is your responsibility. It is to love them as separate beings, on separate journeys, not as extensions of your own unfinished story. You have been afraid that if you stop carrying their pain, you will lose them. But what you will lose is the version of relationship that required your diminishment. What you will lose is the connection that depended on your wounds staying open to match theirs. The people who truly love you will not need you to stay small to feel comfortable. They will not require your brokenness to feel less alone in theirs. They will celebrate your healing, even if it means you can no longer meet them in the familiar territory of shared suffering. This is about reclaiming the energy you have been investing in their emotional weather, the careful tracking of their moods, the constant calibration of your responses to maintain some semblance of peace. You have become a meteorologist of their inner climate, forgetting that you have your own seasons to tend. Your future is calling, and it sounds nothing like their voice. It sounds like your voice, the one you had before you learned to speak in their language, before you learned to want only what would not threaten their comfort, before you learned to dream only dreams they could approve. There is a life waiting for you that you have never lived, because you have been too busy living around their damage, choices you have not made, because you learned early that your choices must serve their stability, risks you have not taken, because their fears became your map of the possible. The path forward is not about forgetting them or pretending the impact was not real. It is about refusing to let their unfinished story become your permanent address. It is about moving from the basement of their damage into the full house of your own potential. You have been living as if their healing is a prerequisite for your freedom, but your freedom might be the very thing that finally allows them to face their own work. Your wholeness might be the mirror that shows them what is possible when someone chooses to live beyond the boundaries of old wounds, the loyalty you have shown to their brokenness. Imagine directing that same fierce devotion toward your own becoming, the energy you have spent managing their dysfunction. Imagine channeling that into creating the life that has been waiting patiently for you to remember. It is yours to live. This is not about blame, not about judgment. This is about recognition. Recognition that love does not require you to carry what is not yours. That healing does not demand you remain wounded to keep someone else company. That freedom is not a betrayal, but a birthright. You have learned to make yourself so small that you fit easily into the spaces their damage left behind. But you were never meant to be a placeholder in the empty rooms of their unhealed heart. You are meant to be the full presence of your own magnificent unfolding. The grief you feel as you set down their burden is real and valid. You are grieving the version of yourself that made their pain your purpose, that found identity in the caretaking, meaning in the managing. You are mourning the familiar weight that gave you something to do with your hands, your heart, your endless capacity for caring. But beneath the grief is relief, the relief of no longer having to be responsible for the emotional temperature of everyone around you, the relief of discovering that love can exist without the constant vigilance, without the exhausting dance of trying to heal through proximity. Your nervous system knows the difference between love and entanglement, between care and codependence. It knows the difference between the organic flow of healthy relationship and the artificial life support you have been providing to connections that cannot survive without your constant intervention. This is your invitation to step out of their shadow and into your own light, to stop living as if their approval is oxygen, their comfort, your compass, their peace, your responsibility, to discover what it feels like to move through the world as yourself, not as the version of yourself that keeps everyone else stable. The qualities that made you so good at carrying their damage, your sensitivity, your intuition, your deep capacity for empathy. These same gifts will serve your own healing. But first, you must turn them toward yourself with the same devotion you have always shown to others' pain. You have been waiting for permission that will never come, permission to want more than they could imagine, permission to heal beyond their comfort zone, permission to become someone they might not recognize. But the only permission you need is your own. The child in you who learned to carry their storms. That child can rest now. The adolescent who made their moods your mood, their fears your fears. That part of you can step back from the job of emotional regulation that was never age appropriate, never your responsibility. Your future self is calling you forward, and she sounds nothing like their voices of limitation. She sounds like freedom, like possibility, like the song you were meant to sing before you learn to harmonize only with their discord. This is about choosing your own becoming over their comfort, choosing your own healing over their familiarity with your woundedness, choosing the unknown territory of your own wholeness over the mapped geography of shared dysfunction. The people who belong in your healed life will find you there. They will not need you to carry their damage, to feel connected. They will meet you in the country of your recovered self, and the love will be different, cleaner, clearer, free from the confusion of thinking. Intimacy requires injury. You have been practicing presence with their absence, loyalty to their limitations, faithfulness to their fears. But what would it look like to practice presence with your own becoming, loyalty to your own dreams, faithfulness to your own magnificent potential? The work now is not about them. The work now is about you, learning to live as if your life matters, as if your dreams deserve space, as if your healing is not contingent on anyone else's readiness to heal alongside you. This is your time, not when they are ready, not when they understand, not when they can handle your freedom without feeling threatened. This is your time, because you are alive, because you matter. The truth you needed is here. You are not responsible for healing what you did not break. You are not required to stay wounded, to keep anyone else company. You are not obligated to dim your light, to make others comfortable with their darkness. Your life is calling. Your dreams are waiting. Your healed self is standing at the threshold of possibility, hand extended, inviting you to step into the truth that has always been yours, that you are worthy of a life lived fully, freely, in the magnificent entirety of who you were always meant to become. This is your moment. This is your choice. This is your invitation to set down the burden that was never yours and pick up the life that has always been waiting for you to claim it.